Cause we're hanging out with Daywalker.
Come on.
She does what I say, I'm a smooth talker.
Yeah.
She call it.
Alright, chat, they're talking about a new Flash movie. I don't know what this is about. My name's Daywalker. We're about to review this real quick. Let me see what they're talking about. Let me see.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year. James
Happy
Gunn
New
has been
Year's.
talking all about the Superman movie, the new version of the Justice League, and the new version of The Flash. That's right, he's already been talking about The Flash the last couple of weeks since we got in the Superman trailer. Naturally, everybody's asking about what the next version of the Justice League is going to look like, so a lot of producers, along with the Creature Commandos series, have been answering questions about characters.
Creature Commandos is fire, by the way. Y'all gotta go watch it. It's animated TV show. It's fire, though. Pretty short episodes, great writing, comedy is good.
From the Justice League, the DCU, that are canon to the live action stuff that have been showing up on Creature Commandos. One of them being the brand new version of The Flash. So naturally, a lot of questions followed all those appearances, like the new version of the Batman. I've already done a bunch of videos about that brand new DCU Batman too. But the way that James Gunn talks about it, they already have a new Flash movie in mind. So we'll explain what's going on with that and how long it's actually going to take before we actually see them do that. Because it does sound like it's not going to happen during their first phase of DC movies. Like if you're talking DC Phase 1, James Gunn is trying to differentiate it from the Marvel movies by calling them chapters. So it's like DC Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. But I know everybody's got questions about Grant Gustin coming back. Who are the actors that are going to be playing these different Flashes?
Y'all really think Grant Gustin will come back, bro? I doubt it, bro.
DCU, because there will be multiple versions of the Flash that are around at the same time. So we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. It's only been a little while since the Flash TV show ended, and I'm already making new Flash videos again. Did not expect to be talking about the Flash this soon after the end of the show.
James Gunn were to ask you to play the Flash again, would you do it?
Yeah, James Gunn asked me to play the Flash. Yeah, I trust James Gunn.
We can just collectively forget about the Ezra Miller version of the Flash. Like, the Flash movie debacle is done and gone. One of the big reasons why James Gunn hasn't said who's going to play his new version of the Flash already is because of what happened with the Flash movie. Like, literally, It just happened. So, like, he wants the dust to settle on that. Give it a good long while.
I don't got a problem. I mean, maybe I don't got a problem with Grant Gustin being the new Flash. Like, I don't think I'd care. I think I'd be fine with that. Like, I can't even, like, I didn't watch all of his show and stuff, but I know that there's enough fans, bro. That'd be good fan service if they let that stuff happen. I wouldn't care, bro.
Clear, and then he'll reintroduce one in live action. And the Flash TV series ran for 9 seasons, so like there's been so much Flash-related stuff the last 10 years or so, they just want to give it a little while to rest before doing a whole bunch more Flash stuff. It's the exact same reason why you haven't seen the new live-action version of Wonder Woman yet, like why he's waiting to introduce her. But they all do currently exist. They are currently active on the planet during the events of the Superman movie. This is the main reason why you've been seeing all the teasers on Creature Commandos, like why it's important why you watch that show, just because they're introducing so many teasers for characters that will show up in live action. The way that James Gunn and the producers for Creature Commandos said it, that Wally West is meant to be the Flash that's featured in the dead of all the Justice League characters in the background of this shot, which basically confirms that Wally West is probably going to be the new main Flash when they start showing up in live action.
And we're gonna do great things with him, and I can't wait for people to see more of him, along with Superman, and together.
Meaning that Barry Allen would be a slightly older, middle-aged version of the Flash in the way that we're getting multiple Green Lanterns. Like, you see Guy Gardner during the Superman trailer with Nathan Fillion, but we're also getting a much older Hal Jordan during the Green Lantern series in a much younger version of Jon Stewart. So one of the other important things is that during the Superman trailer, we get our first look at Hawkgirl. Notice how old she is. She seems like she's kind of a 20-something, even though she reincarnates, like she and Hawkman reincarnate, so technically they're ancient. But at least in this current version of the DCU, present day, she seems like she's in her 20s. Does it not really seem like James Gunn's new version of the Justice League is going to be more based on the animated version of Justice League? If Wally West is the main Flash, you have Hawkgirl, you obviously have Superman, we just saw Batman.
I'm fine with this. This is all I've been asking for my entire life. I'm fine with this. I grew up watching this show. All I've wanted to happen was them to do a big Justice League, bro. You know what I'm saying? Get it right this last time, Gunn. Get it right, bro. I'm getting older, man. I need this, man. I don't care. I love this.
Man, during Creature Commandos, there's all the Themyscira, Amazon, Wonder Woman Easter eggs. We just haven't actually seen her yet, but we did see her in the Flash Forward as a dead character. In rounding out that animated Justice League roster, in the background of the Superman trailer, if you look really carefully, especially when they were filming in Cleveland too, you actually see Easter eggs for Chacos, which is like Martian Manhunter's favorite snack in the DC universe. So the fact that they include Chacos in the Superman movie, I think is meant to show you that Martian Manhunter does exist and is active during present day of the DCU during the events of the Superman movie. He just hasn't made himself known yet. And even though it's probably going to be a long time before we actually see a Justice League come together, like they're slowly introducing all the characters, probably the correct way to do this. Like James Gunn doesn't want to rush to Justice League the same way we did during the Zack Snyder DCEU era.
Right.
But we also heard about a live-action Teen Titans movie that they're making, and the roster is supposed to be closer to the animated Teen Titans roster. Not Teen Titans Go, but the original animated Teen Titans series.
Yeah,
which is basically
sir.
Dick Grayson, who, if you're thinking about the timeline here, because Damian Wayne is meant to be the Robin during Batman Brave and the Bold, Dick Grayson probably already become a version of Nightwing. You have Beast Boy, Starfire, Raven, and Cyborg. But unless this movie is meant to be like a prequel that take place earlier in the timeline, you have to imagine that those characters would be in their 20s at some point, but younger than, say, like...
That shit hard. James Gunn is doing what I've been asking DC to do for the longest time, bro. Give me a Teen Titans movie. Not Teen Titans Go, not a Titans, bro. Give me what I want, man.
Superman, who I think is meant to be in
Damn.
his like mid to later 20s during the events of the Superman movie, just because I think they still want Superman to be in his late 20s when a Justice League eventually forms. So if Wally West isn't going to be in the Teen Titans movie as Kid Flash during that, is probably because he's going to be the main version of Flash inside the Justice League. And the really fun connection, too, because James Gunn, obviously, longtime friend of Michael Rosenbaum, went on his podcast, talked all about taking over the DCU, doing the Superman movie.
And also said that he was the best Lex Luthor ever.
And his version of Lex, because when most people think of Michael Rosenbaum, they think of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Even though he's been trying to hype up Nicholas Holt's version of Lex Luthor, he did say during that interview, before they released the Superman trailer, that Michael Rosenbaum was objectively the best version of Lex in his mind. But all you probably remember that Michael Rosenbaum also played Wally West during that animated Justice League series.
I was the voice of the Flash for 10 years.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
How did I miss
I didn't know that.
Way back when they were doing Crisis on Infinite Earths in the Arrowverse, I was kind of hoping, because we knew that Tom Welling was coming back as his Superman and they were canonizing Smallville to the Arrowverse through that, Michael Rosenbaum said the reason he didn't show up during that was mostly a combination of scheduling and not paying him. Most of the actors that did cameos on that didn't actually get paid to do their cameos. Like, they just did it for fun. And even though it would have been cool for him to come back as his Lex Luthor during that scene, they did reference him during that, like Tom Welling's Superman references President Lex, like he's currently the president when this is taking place. I'd actually been hoping that they would bring Michael Rosenbaum back with a twist, and it would be like a live-action version of Wally West from another universe.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why they
That'd be
didn't
hard.
try to do something like that is because they were already doing the Ezra Miller twist, where like he's the multiverse Flash that shows up from the DCEU, canonizing that to the Arrowverse too. Like it's all Arrowverse now because of Crisis on Infinite Earths. They also probably didn't want to make a brand new Flash costume just for Michael Rosenbaum's 5 seconds that he would have had on screen, like just way too expensive. But there is always the chance that he could have a cameo inside the DCU in some other role. Like he's shown up in a lot of James Gunn's productions, like he showed up as Martinex during the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So stands to reason that he'll have a cameo at some point in some future DCU live action thing. But
That'd be
probably
cool.
as a
I'm
completely,
fine with
totally
that.
different character. When it comes to the new version of the Flash movie that James Gunn has said that they'll eventually do, what they'll probably start with is something closer to what they had originally planned for the plot of the Ezra Miller Flash movie when they had started developing it back around the time Batman v Superman was happening. You remember way back when they announced his character, like they announced that he was going to be the movie version of the Flash right after, like within days of them announcing Grant Gustin was going to be the new Flash on the TV show. If you were paying attention to all the DC news around the time, you probably remember there was a whole bunch of drama around that too. Basically, at that time, during that era of Warner Brothers, the movie people did not care about any of the TV show stuff at all. Like, they weren't even paying attention to what the TV show stuff was doing. So the whole idea is that when Zack Snyder cast Ezra Miller as the Barry Allen Flash for Batman v Superman, they cast him knowing that they would be doing a Flash solo movie. So like that was already in their minds. And then once they were doing Batman v Superman, they started slowly developing the Flash movie. One of the reasons why it took them so long to actually release that Flash movie is because the movie itself changed so many times. It actually got bigger and bigger and bigger with each director that came and went. When they first started, it was mostly going to be a movie about the Flash versus the Rogues, just localized to Central City, with them slowly revealing that Reverse Flash was in the background, sort of pulling strings. Then eventually the Flash movie sequels, had they done them, would have introduced that Reverse Flash, and he would have become the main villain. So it wasn't like they were going to start with Reverse Flash being the villain of the first movie. It would have mostly been Captain Cold in the traditional Rogues. It sounds like when James Gunn eventually does his Flash movie, it'll be something closer to that. But remember, if Wally West is going to be the new main version of the Flash, it'll be his version of the Rogues and his Reverse Flash. They could still use the Eobard Thawne Reverse Flash, but if you remember, technically, Wally West's main Reverse Flash that he faced was Hunter Zolomon, who was Zoom, who they also did on the Flash TV series, although they changed them a lot for the TV series. One of the big differences with Grant Gustin's version of Flash, they changed all the characters just a little bit, like it was sort of an amalgam of the Wally West and the Barry Allen eras of the Flash. Grant Gustin's Barry Allen actually had a personality that was closer to Wally West's personality in the comics. The whole plot with him being raised by Joe West, growing up with Iris West, and then obviously her brother Wally West, all very, very different from the comics. When James Gunn has been talking about his DCU and how it'll feel different from, say, like the Zack Snyder DCEU, he said that he wants it to feel much more like the Silver Age big sci-fi era of DC Comics, which I think is one of the reasons why we have a bunch of Green Lantern space-based stuff happening, while you also have the giant kaiju inside the Superman trailer. Like there's all this crazy stuff going on at the same time. But here's the big thing. If Wally West is going to be the new main version of the Flash during the Justice League movie, during the Flash solo movie when they eventually do that again, who do you want to play that slightly older middle-aged version of Barry Allen? Doesn't it feel like that would be a great opportunity for Grant Gustin to cameo if they don't want to do Barry Allen as like a really big character, or if they don't want to do a new Flash TV series like they're doing for Green Lantern where you pair up the older previous Flash with the younger Flash? James Gunn hasn't said anything about them doing a new Flash TV show, but if they did do a new Flash project, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do like an...
They will probably never... It'll be a long time before we see a Flash TV. There's no reason to do no damn Flash TV show. We're not doing that no more. We're going to stick him in the movies and leave him in the movies, and we're going to get a lot of content from him in the movies. We do no more TV show. Flash TV show. I'm sorry for y'all Flash fans out there. No, we're not doing that. You understand? We're just not going to do that. We're not doing the Flash TV show. We're not.
HBO, shorter episode run, but bigger budget Flash TV show, the way that they're doing with the Green Lantern TV series. My only real hope is that it doesn't get to like 2030 and we're still talking about who that new Flash is going to be. Like, please don't wait that long. Like a couple years wait, okay. Please don't make it more than like a couple years though. When it actually comes to reintroducing live action characters, some of the ones that they haven't done already yet are, say, like Wonder Woman. Like, we see her in the Flash Forward along with Wally West, but we haven't seen live action new Wonder Woman yet. And it won't be Gal Gadot. They'll be recasting the same way they will with Wally West.
It's going to be hard to find a new Gal Gadot. I'm not going to lie. Gal Gadot was bad. Gal Gadot was bad. I don't know another woman that looked like Gal Gadot. Or Wonder Woman. Who else can play Wonder Woman? I know that there's like I know that there's millions of people on the planet and stuff, but one Gal Gadot. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Probably see both of their characters in other people's movies before they get their solo movies. Same thing with Martian Manhunter, also assuming that he doesn't show up in a cameo scene during the Superman movie. One of my other early theories too is that the Superman movie will come out and there'll just be Easter eggs in the background for like a lot of these other characters, and James Gunn will just be like, did you spot all these Easter eggs? All these characters are out there right now, even though you didn't see their faces on screen. They're all there during the Superman movie. It's a way for him to have his cake and eat it too. Like, people always complain about them stuffing too many characters into movies. That'd be a real easy way to reintroduce a bunch of these new Justice League level characters without actually introducing them and having them cram up and take a whole bunch of screen time. But I can't wait to make more Flash videos eventually once we do start hearing more about the new versions of all the different Flash characters that show up. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. We're supposed to get a new Daredevil Born Again trailer really soon. Whenever they do wind up releasing that, of course I will do a video.
Yeah.
Everybody click here to learn
And I'll be
about
reacting
Jason
to it,
Momoa
chat.
coming back from the DCEU into the
Lobos.
DCU. Going to be playing a really big character. And click here for my new Daredevil Born Again trailer.
Well, that's that, chat. You know what I'm saying? Hit that subscribe button. Make sure, you know, share the video, watch the video, comment. I love y'all, all right? We out.
Cause we're hanging out with Daywalker.
Come on.
She does what I say, I'm a smooth talker.
Yeah.
She calling me her daddy, she a Skywalker.
Yeah.
You can follow me on IG, hit the link tree.
What?
You can follow me on YouTube, hit the link tree.
What?
She keep blowing on my phone, she wanna lick me.
Yeah.
My follow